You talked about something else. So I'm going to take a right turn because I want to get in these new lanes of thinking that you have. You called it demand creation mastery. And explain what that is and why it's important if you could.
Yeah. So I think if I pile onto the last conversation around agency, I mean, I'm looking for in our organization right now, as we do have aggressive growth plans, people that are very growth minded and they want to grow and to do those things, right? To help grow our clients' portfolio. I think no one wants to be sold to anymore. Like, how many times does your phone ring from a random number? You're not going to answer it right now. Like, I think the days of pick up the phone 100 times and call a bunch of people. This is sort of the moving away from the science of sales into a little bit more of the art. I think those days are gone. I think, modern growth and demand generation, and I think it comes from looking through the entire ecosystem and like really starting to solve problems before clients see them and, reaching out to them based on valuable information and intelligence. Like I don't think I shouldn't say it's very rare that even myself, like when I'm being sold to, I pick up the phone or I respond to an email. If there's not a really valuable, like, hey, here's three things I know about your business or your company, your team, or the problem you're trying to solve. And, I won't 5 or 10 minutes of your time to like to talk that out. Or, using introductions. Like I had a candidate come in for a role recently through a third party partner. And they asked the partner to reach out to me on their behalf. And I think really highly of that partner. So when he did that, I was like, yes, of course. And again, some of this is really basic, old school relationship building from a demand gen perspective. But for me, it comes down to really thinking about the ecosystem of the problem that the client's trying to solve. And then really like systematically working your way through how do we provide valuable information to getting to that outcome that can start a conversation. And once you get a conversation going, you have to do all of the stuff, all of the table stakes prerequisites. You have to be well researched, you have to be well read. You have to, have probably 3 or 4 conversations with other people in that organization before you meet the person that you got the meeting with, right? Like and all of that sort of valuable prep work, that's how you start to generate demand. And if you do that constantly, conversation, you got other conversations and begat other interesting people that you meet. And it becomes somewhat of a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Like, and this is not busy work to be busy, right? But the best salespeople, and this is where I tend to use a lot of my journalism background when I'm doing this work myself, is that doesn't pass my smell test. I'm not going to like take that for a grain of salt, or I'm going to go deeper on that topic because I'm not sure I trust it. Or you know what? I've now heard this 2 or 3 times from 2 different people. Where there's smoke, there's fire. I'm going to keep going down this path. So that's what I think of like demand generation mastery. It's really the ability to have a vast amount of conversation, process that information, and use it to take what we can provide because we do feel as though we are well positioned in the market. We have valuable services offerings, right? And if we can get in and showcase that to our clients, there's a lot of work for us and a lot of growth ahead of us, which is why we feel so confident in sort of where we are in the market. But to do that, it requires a whole bunch of work that has to happen all the time. I joke all the time. It's like being in shape, right? Like you can't, as soon as you get out of shape, it's way harder to get back in it. As soon as you get out of, really this mindset of like consistent conversations and sort of thinking through your sales math, right? Like it's really hard to get back on that. So long-winded way of saying like demand generation mastery for me comes down to, can you have the right conversations and then use those conversations to provide value to their clients that need it most, right? And need the most help from a services org like us.